Mr. Speaker, 38 years, and I've been in the pro-life movement for 38 years, and the greatest human rights struggle on earth, the Right to Life movement. And what I still don't get is this. How can so many seemingly smart, sane, compassionate, and accomplished people, especially in politics, support, promote, and if President Obama has his way in the pending health care legislation, lavishly fund with public dollars the violent death of unborn children and the wounding of their moms by abortion? Is it really so hard to understand that abortion is violence against children, a pernicious form of child abuse, falsely and aggressively marketed as choice, a human right, or health care? How long will we permit the pro-choice cover-up and the bogus safety claims to misinform, especially in light of the reams of evidence documenting serious injury to women who abort? Abortion safe? What unmitigated nonsense. Women have been profoundly ill-served by the all-too-familiar pattern of denial and deception so skillfully employed by the abortion industry. Women deserve better. They, at the very least, deserve the truth. Mr. Speaker, years ago, a friend of mine, Dr. Jean Garton, wrote a book and included how her young child unexpectedly walked into the room as she was preparing a lecture on abortion. Her 3-year-old child took one gasping look at the badly bruised and battered body of the aborted baby on the screen and shouted, "Mommy, who broke the baby?" That young child saw the brutality of abortion with unclouded comprehension. That child was unencumbered and unaffected by the deceptively clever and preposterously misleading propaganda dished by the multi-billion-dollar pro-choice industry. That child saw and knew immediately that babies are smashed and broken to bits by abortion. And with alarm, that 3-year-old boy wanted to know who did it. Last fall, like that young child, Abby Johnson, a Planned Parenthood abortion clinic director in Texas, with 8 years at that facility, watched an ultrasound imaging of an abortion in progress of a 3-month-old unborn child. Like the victimized baby on the ultrasound monitor being dismembered in real time right before her eyes, Miss Johnson was crushed by what she saw. Self-described as extremely pro-choice, but now pro-life, she said she watched an unborn child crumple before her very eyes as the infant was dismembered and vacuumed to death by a hideous suction device 20 to 30 times more powerful than a household vacuum cleaner. She said, "I could see the baby try to move away." In a startling moment of truth and clarity, she said, "I just thought, what am I doing? Never again." And she walked out the door of that abortion mill. I'll never forget my wife Marie and I, right outside the Supreme Court, there were a group of women called the Silent No More Awareness Campaign. And these women were telling their stories, very, very powerful stories, how they had been hurt emotionally and physically by abortion. One woman told the story how she was actually on the gurney, actually in the process of getting an abortion. And the doctor, the abortionist, said, "It's trying to get away." Being only partially sedated, she heard all of that, shot up real quick and said, "Get me off it, get me out of here." And they said, "It's too late. The abortion has already started." But the child instinctively was trying to get away. We also know from people like Dr. Alveda King, one of the founders and leaders of a group called the Silent No More Awareness Campaign, a courageous woman who has had 2 abortions. Dr. King is the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King, and she now says, "How can my uncle's dreams survive if we murder the children?" Dr. Martin Luther King talked about inclusion, the politics of inclusion, not disenfranchising someone by reason of their age or condition of dependency or race or by reason of their sex. She now heads up a group that reaches out to women who have had abortions and have suffered and offers the path through faith, through God, and through friendship to come to a sense of reconciliation and restoration as a result of the trauma of abortion. Tragically, never again, as Abby said, the abortion clinic operator at Planned Parenthood, Abby Johnson, when she walked out and said, never again comes too late for the approximately 52 million babies who have been slaughtered in Planned Parenthood clinics and abortion mills throughout America since the infamous holdings of the U.S. Supreme Court in 1973. 52 million babies lost. It's staggering, stunning, and beyond tragic. But you know, it doesn't have to come too late for the millions of other children who face extermination today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. If we awake from our slumber, from our indifference, from our callous attitude, and start to truly combat the cruelty and injustice of abortion.